Hello! We are so excited to show you our native speech capabilities. Welcome back to the English journey. Today, we are talking about a dream we all share, speaking English naturally. My name is Anna, and I am here to show you that fluency is not a secret. It is a simple path that anyone can walk.
And I am Abel. I'm so glad to be here with you, Anna. For a long time, I thought I was not smart enough to speak English. I felt like the words were trapped inside my head. Today, we want to help you set those words free and show you how to improve your fluency one small step at a time.
Abel, I love that you said the words felt trapped. That is such a perfect description. So many people feel exactly that way. They know some English words, they studied English at school, but when they open their mouth to speak, the words just disappear. It's like they were there a moment ago and then suddenly they're gone. Does that sound familiar to you, Abel?
Oh, yes, that sounds very, very familiar. It used to happen to me all the time. I would be in a conversation, someone would ask me a simple question, and my mind would just go completely blank, empty, like a white room with nothing in it. I felt so embarrassed. I wanted to speak, but I could not find the words. It was a very frustrating feeling.
I understand that feeling completely. And I want to say something very important right now, at the very beginning of our conversation today. That feeling, that frustration, that moment when your mind goes blank, that is not a sign that you are failing. It is not a sign that you are bad at English. It's actually a very normal and very common part of the learning journey. Almost every single person who learns a new language feels this way. You are not alone.
That is so good to hear, Anna. I think one of my biggest problems was that I thought I was the only one who felt this way. I looked at other people speaking English, and they looked so calm, so relaxed, so confident, and I thought, why can I not do that? What's wrong with me?
Nothing is wrong with you. Absolutely nothing. And today, we are going to talk about some very simple, very practical ways to help you move forward. We are going to talk about why learning English can feel like standing in front of a giant wall, and how you can take that wall down one small brick at a time. We're going to talk about listening, about repeating, about practicing in ways that feel comfortable and safe. And we're going to talk about why making mistakes is actually one of the most beautiful and important things you can do as a learner.
I am excited. I'm a little nervous, but I am excited. So Anna, let us start from the beginning. When I think about speaking English, I always feel this big fear, this heavy, scary feeling, like there's something blocking me. You mentioned a wall. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, I love this idea, and I want you to really picture it in your mind. Imagine you're standing outside on a beautiful day. The sun is shining, the sky is blue, you can feel a warm breeze on your face, and in front of you, right in front of you, there's a giant wall. This wall is very tall, it's very wide. It stretches from one side to the other, as far as you can see. And on the other side of the wall, that's where the fluency is. That's where the easy, natural, confident English is waiting for you. But right now, you cannot get over the wall. It feels impossible. It feels too big, too heavy, too difficult.
Yes, that's exactly how it feels, like the wall is just too big to climb over.
And here's the thing that I want you to understand. Most learners look at that wall and they think they need to jump over it all at once. They think, I need to become fluent immediately. I need to speak perfectly right now. I need to have a long conversation today, even though I'm a beginner. And because the wall looks so tall and so impossible, they give up before they even try. They walk away. They say, this is too hard for me.
I did that. I actually did exactly that. I remember one time I tried to speak English with a tourist who asked me for directions. He was lost and he needed help. And I knew some English. I had studied for months. But the moment he looked at me and waited for my answer, I just panicked. I said sorry and walked away quickly. I felt terrible about it for days.
Thank you for sharing that, Abel. That is such an honest and brave thing to share. And I think so many of our listeners can relate to that exact moment of panic, that moment of walking away. But here's the good news. Here's the most important thing I want to tell you about the wall. You do not need to jump over it. You do not need to climb it. You just need to take it down one small brick at a time, one single brick. Every day, you remove one small brick from that wall, one new phrase, one new sentence, one short conversation, one small moment of courage. And slowly, day by day, the wall gets smaller. And one day, you look up and realize that the wall is not so tall anymore. In fact, you can see over it. You can see the other side.
I really like that. One brick at a time. That feels much less scary. It feels possible. So what is the first brick? What is the first thing I should do?
The very first brick, the very first step, is listening. And I want to explain this because many learners skip this step. They go straight to speaking. They try to talk before their ears are ready. But your ears are the secret door to your mouth. Let me say that again because it's so important. Your ears are the secret door to your mouth. Before you can speak naturally, you need to hear natural English many times. Your brain needs to collect the sounds, the rhythms, the patterns of the language. It's like filling a big jar with water. You can't pour out what's not inside. You have to fill the jar first.
Oh, I love that. Fill the jar first. So listening fills the jar, and then speaking pours it out?
Exactly. That is a perfect way to think about it. And the type of listening matters very much. I always tell beginners to listen to easy English first. Not fast English, not complicated English. Easy English. English at a slow, clear, comfortable speed, like this podcast. When you listen to easy English, your brain can follow along. It can understand the words. It can start to feel the natural flow and rhythm of the sentences. And this is so important. This feeling, this sense of rhythm, is what will eventually come out when you speak.
That makes so much sense. I used to try to watch American movies to practice my listening, but they spoke so fast and they used so much slang that I could not understand anything. I felt more confused after watching than before.
That is a very common mistake, and I am so glad you mentioned it. Movies and fast TV shows are wonderful tools, but they are not the right starting point for a beginner. They're like trying to run before you can walk. Start with slow, clear, simple listening content. Podcasts like this one, easy audiobooks, easy news programs, even children's stories in English. These are perfect for training your ear. Listen to the same short piece of audio again and again. Repetition is your best friend at this stage. Listen once, listen again, and listen a third time. Each time you listen, you will catch something new. A word you missed, a pattern you did not notice before.
Okay, so we listen first, we fill the jar, and then what? What is the next step after listening?
The next step is what I call the shadow method, and this is one of my absolute favorite techniques for beginners because it is simple, it is effective, and it's actually a lot of fun once you get used to it. Here's how it works. You listen to a short phrase or a short sentence in English, and then you repeat it out loud. You say it after the speaker, like a shadow following behind them. You copy the sounds, you copy the rhythm, you copy the music of the sentence. You are not just repeating the words, you are repeating the whole shape of the sentence, the way it rises and falls, the way the sounds connect together.
Like an echo?
Yes, like an echo or like a song. Think about how children learn songs. They hear a song many times, they start to hum along, then they learn a few words, then more words, and soon they can sing the whole song without even thinking about it. The shadow method works in the same way. You choose a simple sentence, something like, "I would like a cup of coffee, please," or "Can you help me find this place?" And you repeat it again and again. You say it slowly first, then a little faster. You listen to how it sounds and you try to match it. Your tongue is learning, your mouth is practicing, your brain is building a new road for those words to travel on.
I actually tried something a little bit like this once. I used to repeat phrases from English songs while I was walking to work. I did not even realize I was practicing. I just liked the way the words felt in my mouth.
That is wonderful. And that instinct you had, that natural desire to repeat the phrases because they felt good in your mouth, that is exactly the right feeling. Chase that feeling. When a phrase feels good to say it again and again. Write it down if you need to. Put it on a small piece of paper on your wall. Say it in the morning when you wake up. Say it at night before you sleep. Repetition does not have to be boring. It can feel like music.
Okay, so we have listening and we have the shadow method. Now I want to ask you about something that I personally did, and I'm a little embarrassed to talk about it, but I think it might help other people. Anna, I used to talk to myself in the mirror.
Oh, please tell me more. I love this.
I know it sounds a little strange, but I was so shy about speaking English in front of other people. I was scared they would laugh at me. So I started having conversations with myself in the bathroom mirror every morning. I would look at my reflection and I would say, "Good morning, how are you today?" And my reflection would look back at me and I would answer, "I am fine, thank you. How are you?" It felt silly at first. It felt very, very silly. But something interesting started to happen after a few weeks.
What happened?
I started to feel less scared. When I looked at my own face in the mirror and spoke English to myself, there was no pressure. Nobody was judging me. Nobody was going to laugh. It was just me and my reflection. And so I could relax. And when I relax, the words come more easily. I started to remember phrases better. I started to sound more natural. And then slowly, I started to feel more confident when I spoke to real people too, because the mirror had given me a safe place to practice.
Abel, that is not silly at all. That's actually one of the most powerful and well-known techniques in language learning. Speaking to a mirror removes the biggest obstacle for most beginners, which is the fear of judgment. When you're afraid that someone will judge you, your brain goes into a kind of protective mode. It closes down, it freezes. But when you are alone, when you are safe, when there's no risk of embarrassment, your brain can open up. It can experiment. It can try new things. And that experimentation, that safe space to make mistakes and try again, that's where real learning happens.
I am so glad it wasn't just me. So, would you recommend that to other learners?
Absolutely and completely. If you are listening right now and you have never tried speaking to a mirror, I want you to try it this week. Start very small, just 2 or 3 simple sentences every morning. Talk about your day. Describe what you see around you. Ask yourself a simple question and then answer it. The mirror doesn't care about your grammar. The mirror doesn't care about your accent. The mirror is the most patient conversation partner you will ever have.
Anna, I want to ask you about something that I struggled with a lot. When I was speaking, I knew some words, but my sentences were always very short, very simple, like "I like food" or "the weather is nice." I wanted to say more, but I did not know how to make my sentences longer and more natural. How do I do that?
This is such a great question, and the answer is actually much simpler than most people think. The secret is small words, very small, very simple words that connect your ideas together. The most powerful ones are and, but, and because. These 3 little words are like bridges. They connect one thought to another thought and create a longer, more natural sentence. Let me show you what I mean. You said, "I like food." That's a perfectly fine sentence. But now watch what happens when we add a small word. I like food, and I especially love trying food from different countries. Do you hear how much richer that sounds? We just added the word and a few more simple words, and suddenly the sentence is much more interesting.
Oh, that's amazing. It sounds so much more natural. Can you show me another example?
Of course. Let's take the sentence, "The weather is nice." Very simple. Now let's use but. The weather is nice today, but I think it will rain tomorrow. Or let's use because. I love this weather because it makes me feel happy and energetic. Do you see how the sentence grows? Do you see how it starts to sound like something a fluent speaker would say? You are not using difficult words. You are using the same simple words you already know. You are just connecting them with small bridges.
I am going to start doing this right away. And, but, because. I will remember those 3. They're like magic words.
They really are. And there are other small bridge words too. Words like so, which shows a result. Words like when, which connects a time to an action. Words like if, which opens up a possibility. But for now, start with and, but, and because. Use them every day. Use them in your mirror practice. Use them when you write a message to a friend. Use them whenever you speak, and you will feel your English becoming richer, more connected, more natural.
Anna, I want to talk about something that stops so many learners, including me for a very long time. Mistakes. I was always so terrified of making mistakes. I thought a mistake meant I was failing. I thought a mistake meant I was not good enough. I used to stay silent rather than risk saying something wrong. Can you help me understand mistakes differently?
This might be the most important thing we say in this entire conversation, so I want you to listen very carefully. A mistake is not a failure. A mistake is a gift. I want you to really sit with that idea for a moment. A mistake is a gift. When you make a mistake in English, something very valuable is happening. Your brain is trying. It is reaching. It is attempting something new. It is testing a new road to see if the road works. And sometimes the road does not work perfectly. You use the wrong word. You mix up the grammar. You say something that sounds a little strange. And that is how the brain learns which road is correct. You cannot learn the right path without sometimes taking the wrong one.
I never thought about it that way. The mistake is part of the learning, not the opposite of learning.
Exactly. Every mistake is data. It is information. It is your brain saying, okay, that did not work quite right. Let me adjust. Let me try again. The learners who improve the fastest are not the ones who make the fewest mistakes. They are the ones who are brave enough to make the most mistakes, because they are the ones who are trying the most, speaking the most, practicing the most. Perfection is not the goal. Progress is the goal, and progress is made through trying, failing, learning, and trying again.
I wish someone had told me this years ago. I wasted so much time being silent because I was afraid of saying the wrong thing. I let the fear of mistakes stop me from practicing. And of course, because I was not practicing, I was not improving. It was a terrible cycle.
It is a very common cycle, and I am so glad you broke out of it. And for anyone listening right now who is still in that cycle, I want you to know that you can break it too. The next time you are in a conversation and you want to say something, but you're scared of making a mistake, I want you to take a breath and speak anyway. Say the sentence. Maybe it will be perfect. Maybe it will not be perfect. But either way, you will have practiced. You will have tried. And trying is always, always more valuable than staying silent.
Okay, so we have talked about listening, the shadow method, speaking to the mirror, connecting sentences with small words, and making peace with mistakes. Now I want to ask about something very practical. I have a busy life. I work, I have responsibilities. I don't have hours and hours every day to study English. What can someone like me actually do?
This is one of the most practical and important questions you can ask, and my answer is going to surprise you because it is so simple. 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes every morning. That's all you need to start building real fluency. I call it the 5-minute challenge, and I want to explain exactly why it works, because it's not magic, it's science.
5 minutes? That doesn't sound like very much. Can 5 minutes really make a difference?
It sounds small, but here's the truth. 5 consistent, focused, daily minutes of English practice is far more powerful than 2 hours of English study once a week. The reason is something called habit formation. When you do something every single day, at the same time every day, it becomes a habit. It becomes automatic. It becomes part of who you are. And habits are incredibly powerful because they don't require willpower anymore. They just happen. Like brushing your teeth. You don't spend energy deciding to brush your teeth every morning. You just do it. Learning English can feel exactly like that if you build the right habits.
So what do I do in those 5 minutes? I don't want to waste them.
Here's a simple and effective routine for your morning 5 minutes. In the first minute, listen to one short, simple English sentence or phrase, something from this podcast or from any easy English content you enjoy. In the second minute, repeat that phrase out loud. Use the shadow method. Copy the sounds and the rhythm. Say it slowly, then a little faster. In the third minute, go to your mirror and use that phrase in a very short, simple conversation with yourself. In the fourth minute, think about how you can connect that phrase to other ideas, using and, but, or because. Try saying the phrase a few different ways. And in the fifth minute, just appreciate yourself. Acknowledge that you showed up, you practiced, you put one more brick in your foundation. You are building something real.
That's so structured and so achievable. I can do that. I know I can do that. It's only 5 minutes. There's no excuse not to do 5 minutes.
Exactly. And here's what happens over time. After 1 week of doing this, you will have practiced for 35 minutes total. That doesn't sound like much, but your brain will have heard and used new English phrases 7 times each. 7 times. After 1 month, you will have practiced for over 2 hours, and you will have a collection of phrases and sentences that feel natural in your mouth because you have repeated them so many times. After 3 months, you will look back and be amazed at how far you have come, all from just 5 minutes a day.
I am genuinely inspired right now. I'm thinking about all the learners who are listening to us right now, people who feel exactly like I used to feel, scared, frustrated, stuck behind that big wall. I want to say something to them directly.
Please do. I think they need to hear your voice.
If you're listening right now and you feel like English is too difficult for you, I understand that feeling. I lived in that feeling for a long time, but I want you to know that the feeling is not the truth. The truth is that you're already doing something brave right now. You're listening to this podcast. You're here. You showed up, and showing up is the first and most important step. Every expert was once a beginner. Every fluent English speaker once struggled to find words. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be right now, on your own journey.
Abel, that was beautifully said. And I want to add one final, deeply important thought for everyone listening. Believe in yourself. I know that sounds simple. I know you've heard it before, but I want you to understand what believing in yourself actually means in the context of learning English. It doesn't mean thinking you're already perfect. It doesn't mean pretending you have no difficulties. Believing in yourself means trusting the process. It means saying, I don't know everything yet, but I'm learning. It means saying, I made a mistake today, but that mistake is teaching me something. It means saying, I will practice for 5 minutes today, because 5 minutes today, and 5 minutes tomorrow, and 5 minutes every day after that will take me somewhere wonderful.
Language is not just about words. It's about connection. It's about reaching out to another human being across every barrier of culture and distance and saying, I see you, I hear you, I understand you. English gives you a door to do that with so many more people in the world, and that door is absolutely, completely open for you.
Every single brick you remove from that wall, every phrase you practice in the mirror, every small sentence you build with and, but, and because, every brave moment when you speak, even though you're afraid, all of it is moving you closer to the person you want to be, the person who speaks English with warmth and ease and quiet, unshakable confidence.